Paris is truly a sight to behold. I can't get used to it, even having lived here for most of my life. The Seine parting the city in two, the smell of baked goods in the morning, and the buildings filled with history. Even so, living here alone could maybe be a bit mundane, but I don't have to. I share an apartment with my old friend Roselle, who studies veterinary medicine of some sort. I don't get to spend too much time with her, as my job's working the evening shift at a small newspaper. Speaking of which, I ought to let her know that I'll be heading to the office for the night in a bit. I knock on her door, waiting a few seconds before entering. Hey Ro, how are you doing? I'm alright, Maddie, and you? All good, just wanted to let you know I'll be leaving for work in a few. So, what have you been up to? Not much. Cool? Yeah. Worked from home. You know what? It's a really nice outside. And we haven't even gone out for a coffee together. We should totally do so this weekend when we're both free. Well, it's been a while. You know you want to. Some fresh air will feel nice. Maybe. I might have to study, so no promises. He glances at the clock above the door behind me. Shouldn't you be going soon? We wound up late and not too long, right? I'm good on time actually, but it might be time to break it off. You might be right. I'm off then. I'll pass by the baker's too. Is there anything you'd like? No, I'm good. Alright then, see you. I leave her to her own and head for the door. Before leaving, I pat my pockets, realizing that I'm forgetting something. Bro, have you seen my keys? The ones with the cork? Have you looked in the kitchen? I check and find them on the countertop. I always forget to check there. Gosh, the music is so quiet, I have to keep turning it up. Good thing she still keeps tabs on me, even if things are different now. Thanks, bye. Man, how lucky am I to have a view like this going to work? I think to myself as my feet patter against the rounded stones of the old tow path. In the shade by the wall, I spot a cat looking every bit as scruffy as the water looks serene. Oh, Roselle'd love this if she were here. She always used to chase after cats, patiently gain their trust and befriend them like some kind of cat whisperer. Whenever successful, which was almost always, she'd memorialize the occasion by having a picture taken, like a big game hunter of old posing with her quarry. I kind of miss that side of her. Maybe a picture of my own would remind her of the good old days? The thought stops me in my tracks, and I study the cat in question. It's just sitting there, gazing over the water as if saying, "Yep, I rule this place." Which in fairness, it probably did by the looks of things. Looking at the time, I noticed that I had plenty of it. I could at least try to get her a picture. What could possibly go wrong after all? But how should I approach? Better take it slow here. Slow and steady wins the race, and after all, I'm not the sorceress cat whisperer Roselle. I would hate to spook it now. From what was clearly, even to me, a favorite spot of theirs. Not that this cat looks particularly skittish. It has a very proud bearing. Hello there, kitty. I speak softly while closing the distance. When I'm merely a few meters away, it gives me a casual glance out of the corner of its eye. I get the idea and stop. Satisfied with my response, it resumes watching over the still water. I could easily just take a picture of the cat's back and call it a day, but my professional pride berates me for even considering such a notion. It may not be the cuddliest cat in the world, but I will get a good photo one way or another. The cat seems to rather enjoy the view of the water. Ever so slowly I walk up to the edge, maintaining respectful distance to the cat and sitting down with my legs crossed. The late summer's evening sun shrouding the city in a pink glow, not even the faintest breeze disrupting the mirror-like surface of the water. I glance at the cat. It's basking in the sun with closed eyes, savoring the warmth. The moment is here. With careful, deliberate movements, I fish my phone out of my pocket and lean in for a picture. The picture perfectly captures the serenity of the scene. Not wishing to disturb the cat any longer, I get up and walk away. The reply comes through so fast it feels like it got before I even sent a message. That's a gorgeous photo. That cat looks like a stray. How did you manage to get so close? Tell me. I just took my time with it. I took a page from your book. Gotta learn from the best. The best? Wouldn't go that far, but thanks. Did it take long to get to that point? Not really, it didn't seem to mind me being in the vicinity as long as it could keep track of me and I did nothing hasty. Strays are often kind of chill if you don't bother them. Be careful though, they can be kind of unpredictable. Kinda got that vibe, yeah, I will be. Almost forgot. Thanks for the picture, I think I'll make that my new home screen on my phone. Good chat, Ro, but I need to hurry up now. Lost more time than I thought here. Oh gosh, I always wanted one of those clocks. One of those, you know, with the tail and the eyes and everything. I don't know, I just always liked those. Right. Work went by as usual and it was over in no time. Dawn is lurking around the corner as I'm heading for the bakery. All the little shops are closed, but the bakers are already at their battle stations, churning out their goods for the breakfast rush in the coming day. Dang. I always wanted one of those clocks, though. Although now it doesn't really matter, because I don't really look at, those kind of clocks anyway. And besides, the ticking of clocks drives me crazy. Thanks to having friends in high places, also known as the owner, I'm allowed to sneak in through the back door and get my grubby hands on bread early. Giselle said she didn't want any, but I'll get her some just in case she changes her mind. Besides, you can never have too much bread. As I leave the bakery with my precious baked goods, I notice a cardboard box next to the door, which apparently is the residence of a charmingly fat cat sleeping inside. Clearly it's being cared for to some extent, as the floor is draped with a cozy-looking blanket. Somebody's made it a little roof to keep the rain out. Is it a new tenant on the street, or am I selectively blind and it's always been here? I can't recall. Looking around, the nearby area is strangely littered with glass jars, too. Inspired by the success of the earlier cat encounter, I decided to add to win further glory by attaining a second triumphant moment, one to make Roselle the cat whisperer proud. Yeah, this is a cute game. I dropped my bag and crouched down next to the sleeping cat, or what I thought was a sleeping cat. It opens an eye and looks down at me lazily. Those chubby cheeks appear to be destined for cuddling. Testing the waters, I tentatively reach out my hand, but meet no resistance. I caress its head and it peacefully closes its eyes. It looks like a smile, appearing content. A soft purr follows and an outstretched paw closes and opens gently. When I unwittingly touch the cat's chin, it presses its head against my hand. I remove my hand and look at it quizzically. The cat looks back at me with steady eyes, with that oddly satisfied face of a person who knows they'll get what they want. Difference being this is a cat. Hesitantly, I reach back under the chin and yet again it pushes against my hand. Finally catching on to this advanced form of communication, I give it a good scratch and see the grin-like face of an excessively happy cat. The rumbling purring could probably be heard all over town, all the while the cat bobs along my movements. After a while I grow tired of the whole affair and stop. There's cuddling, then there's spending a whole day standing in the back alley. The cat jumps down to stroke its body against my knees, persistently asking for more cuddles. I can feel the tiredness lurking, the mental age of my bed calling me home, but instead I would appear to have been confiscated by this cat. Every time I make an effort to get going, it gets in the way of my feet, causing me to nearly trip over in order to avoid stepping on the cheeky bugger. While Rose's not here, she could still have a good laugh at my expense if I can nab that picture. The conundrum remains, however, how to get enough space to do the nabbing of said picture. Maybe I don't need to create distance. I fumble with my pocket as I continue petting the cat with the other hand. In the position I'm sitting, it's difficult to get it out of my pocket and a struggle for a moment. Finally, I prevail against these insurmountable odds, place the camera in front of us and snap a bunch of photos, hoping that at least one wouldn't be a blurry mess of a disaster. I go through them quickly and there's one close-up picture of the cat's face that didn't end up looking like the photo was taken from inside a tumble dryer. You'll have to make do. A few more cuddles later, I managed to extricate myself from the situation, start off in the direction of home. While perhaps not the best interaction on my part, this picture turned out kind of great. Wow, how did you manage to take this one? After many trials and tribulations, I managed to nab it in the end. And that approximately 42,372 others that turned out rubbish, but that's beside the point. I bet. Did you get along well? Kind of, not bad, not great, I don't think. I was thinking of trying to feed it. That could work, just don't give it raw fish or something that could make it sick. Don't worry, I won't. What a day. Keychain rattling in my hand, I unlocked the door, shutting it behind me. Dumping the bag on the floor by the wall and trudging over to the kitchen for a bite to eat before bed. I trundle past Rose's door. Shut as always. Just a faint blue light leaking through the door frame. She must be on the laptop again. Finally arriving at the counter, I have myself a few pieces of fresh loaf before dragging myself into the living room and to the TV. Slumping into the couch, I watch whatever happens to be on, lazily munching away. There's a documentary on about life on the African savannah. It'd be just her thing. After a few minutes of deliberation, I get up, going over to Rose's room and gently knock on her door. Hey Ro, you up? Yeah, Maddie, what is it? Can I come in? Sure. Why don't you come hang out with me? There's a wildlife special on. There's lions and everything, just like we always used to catch. There's a few moments of silence. I'd rather not. I want to be alone. Knowing when not to overstay my welcome, I wish her a good night before gently closing the door and heading back to the couch. Never having been one for sitting around, come afternoon I treat myself to a walk. Some might think that walking is a bit of a peculiar treat, but in a city like Paris, it really is. There's always something beautiful to see, something exciting to discover. I've been walking around the city virtually every day for years, and it still never bores me. On the contrary, it helps dislodge writer's block and distract me from other woes. One of the streets and sports I always come back to though— spots I come back to— is this little old street passing by the small park. The trees happen to make for a great spot to just get away from the sun on a hot day, an added bonus. Suddenly I spot an orange fuzz in the periphery, and I instinctively know it's a cat. It's funny, the things that you notice once you're actively looking for them. Well, it's either that or I've been afflicted with a cat-engineered nanomachines altering my perception, which in all honesty is a touch unlikely. Rather than a fully grown cat, this one's a mere kitten, playing with the leaves beneath a tree. Playtime is disrupted, however, when a pedestrian tramples by, startling the little creature. After having taken cover by the tree for a while, it tentatively returns to its game, soon blissfully distracted. I'd love to join in, but I don't want to frighten it again either. Oh. Considering how that person storming by scared the poor thing, I should probably let it know I'm approaching beforehand so I don't scare it again. I walk closer, careful with slow, deliberate movements, quietly calling out for it. Hey little friend, don't be afraid. Turns out, kittens don't do too well on the whole hearing comprehension front, and it curls them to a small nervous bundle. Don't be scared, I'm a friend. I stopped for a while, giving it some time to realize that I wasn't going to stampede by or do it any harm. Clearly anxious due to my presence, I need to do something to break the ice. Maybe I can get across my friendliness through a casual conversation? I go on to tell the kitten about my day, the cat by the canal, my night shift at work, and about the other cat by the cafe. While facing in the general direction of the cat, I don't look directly at it, trying to communicate that I'm no threat to it. I cast a quick glance at it and the kitten is watching me carefully, but seems less withdrawn, more curious. Well, it's obviously a rather playful sort, maybe that'd help me befriend it. The trees beside us has kindly enough dropped a twig on the ground that looks like it could double as a cat toy. Picking it up, I give it a try, drawing a figure of 8 in the air. But I've never played with a cat. Sure, it can't be too complicated, but how should I go about it? Still a question that needs answering. With the kitten being easily scared, I feel it would be detrimental to be too aggressive. Instead, I start with the stick some ways off, starting slow and carefully adding speed while changing directions. The kitten's eyes are soon set on the tip of the twig and following it curiously. With the kitten's attention, I dare go closer, and as the stick passes by, it swats after the stick with its paw. Another gentle swoosh of the stick, and the kitten jumps in, fishing the toy to its full extent. It pounces on it and holds it down with its claws. I let it have its victory before carefully jiggling it out of its grip. The kitten's eyes are brimming with light. It is something Roselle must see. I fumble with my free hand as I continue to distract the kitten with a twig. I manage to get a hold of my phone, turn the camera on, and get the picture taken. Instead of taking my leave right away, we play somewhere, but a group of loud youngsters startle it again and it scurries off. I'd love to meet it again. Gosh, the music just keeps going like way too low. But if I put it up, then it gets way too high. Like I can't find the perfect balance. With not a small sense of pride, I relay the brilliant image to Ro. Clearly I am not the only one to recognize its quality. That has to be the cutest thing I've seen in ages. I know, never spent as much time with cats or other critters as you've, but it's easy to see the appeal now. They're lovely, aren't they? Such an adorable little kitten with a bell and everything. I wish I had a cat like that. Reminds me of my first one when I was a kid. If that cat was anything like this one, it's easy to understand your obsession. I'll be home soon. I can see you're beginning to type, then stop, erase, and type again. It goes on for a little while until the word okay shows up. A bit underwhelming maybe, but at least I roused her for a little while. I know, I'm still sad I have never had a kitten. When I get home, I enter Rose's room. I just wanted to let you know I'll be visiting the bakery lunchtime tomorrow. I need to grab a cake for Rico from work's birthday. If you want to come along, I'm sure the cat will be there. I think I'll rather stay here. They say it's going to be very hot out tomorrow. But if you do see it, you know the rule, right? Right. When you see a cat for a second time, you must name it. I remember. I'll head out again and go to work soon. Good luck. When down by the canal, I keep an eye out for the scruffy cat, but I don't run into it again. Work turns out like usual, pretty uneventful. After some well-deserved sleep, I head out to grab that cake. To be honest, I'm more excited at the chance of seeing the cat again than to celebrate my coworker. I should get the cat something. It looks like one that would appreciate something edible. I take a quick detour to a grocery store and I quickly find myself in the small pet aisle. I have no idea what the cat likes, and the picture of the jars loaded around its bed pop into my mind. Maybe they had contained something like it, but I can't quite remember what label it had. What should I buy? I mean, obviously it's gonna want, like, shrimp. I like shrimp. Glass jar, glass jar. What on earth could a glass jar have that'd be of interest to a cat? Probably not mushrooms, that's for sure. Some seafood, perhaps? Shrimp, most likely. I don't know of any shrimp that comes in glass jars. Maybe it's different in Paris, but I most certainly have never seen shrimp in a jar. I can't for the life of me recall what label had been on that jar, but surely this couldn't work out too badly. Shrimp are fantastic. But just in case he doesn't enjoy the glorious shrimp, I grab a small bag of cat treats as well. When I reach the bakery, I find the cat resting in its makeshift bed yet again. Good afternoon to you, cat. Oh, you know what? Maybe it did like olives, I don't know. Olives come in glass jars. Although I can't imagine a cat actually liking olives. Seems weird. The cat looks at me as if saying afternoon, all without moving very much at all in its cozy little nook. I can't ever recall seeing any living thing so visibly content with everything. I would absolutely adore this cat. As her apprentice, I must follow her word and give it a name. Oh, what should I name the kitty? Do you have a name I should name it? Because I forgot that you got to name the cats in this game. Turtle. Okay. After your own kitty. Does Turtle work for you, buddy? Turtle half yawns, half meows. It's close enough to approval for me. I wonder if it will approve of my choice of snack to the same extent. Getting the lid out of the way, I go fishing for shrimp, catching one, shaking off some of the water before handing it over to Turtle. I had a cat that looked like him. He was fat. Dang, I want a fluffy kitty, but at the same time, I know that they shed like crazy. Oh, but they are so fluffy though. Shrimp quickly grabs his attention, sniffing the food. He gives a lick before biting, causing me to drop it. I prefer keeping my fingers, so I leave it to Turtle. Turtle devours a small crustacean and then continues to look around the bed for more. I grab another shrimp, making sure the cat sees it, and Turtle reaches out a paw to try to grab it. I give it to the cat, but I feel inspired to try something out. I could have an opportunity here to make Turtle earn the snacks. It would actually be kind of cool if I could teach Turtle a trick. Fluffy's really nice. Short-haired but soft kitties, eat it a man. Yeah. Oh, I kind of do want another fluffy one though. Even if they kind of are hard to maintain. So, what should I attempt to teach it? Oh, he didn't like it. I'd love to see Turtle sit pretty. It should be possible since the cat really likes its treats. I pick one up, reaching out to Turtle so it knows it is there before I hold it above the cat. It looks up at my hand and I see the urge to jump after it, surge through the cat's body. It twitches in the treat's direction and one paw slightly lifted. I tease by moving the treat in a circle and call out to the cat. Enough to make Turtle stand up on its hind legs and hug my hand with its front paws. The cat tries to smell out an opening to the treat and I grant the cat a well-earned one. I pick up another and dangle it above the cat. Its gaze breaks from the morsel to look at me and the cat gives me its best "Are you kidding me? This again look." It would appear Turtle doesn't much appreciate me making it partake in such a strenuous activity. I pet the cat's head to make up for my preposterous proposal, which does seem to work. I thought sit pretty meant he was just gonna sit there. I didn't think that meant I would make the cat like have to reach up. At risk of overfeeding the cat, it's probably wise to reward its effort another way rather than giving it more food. Nice belly rub should do the trick. I pet it over the head and eventually it rolls onto its back, and I try to pet the rather massive belly. Turtle responds with a pleased sound, stretching in such a manner that legs are extended over the sides of the box. I've never quite realized how big a cat can get. Any more stretching and Turtle could obscure the horizon. Here's a good cat. Turtle lies perfectly still, earning a thorough belly rub. I realized that I had already spent much more time with Turtle than I had intended, and I need to pick up that cake already. Hesitantly, I give Turtle a last pat on the head before saying my goodbyes and escaping into the bakery. It's bustling with more activity than usual. When the owner scurries by, I receive the great news. Business has been going well and they were moving to a new, bigger place not too far away. I congratulate her, apologizing for not having much time to chat before taking my leave, cake in hand. I'm home. Unlike the usual silence, Ro calls for me. Annie, can you come over for a minute? When had she last been the one to call out to me? That's something I haven't considered being a possibility in a very long time. I walk over to her room. Yes. Roselle plays with her hands as if she's unsure of how to bring up the subject. Thank you for the photos, they were nice. However, yes, that kitten. Was there anyone with it? No, it was alone, I think. Isn't that strange? For a kitten to be all alone, I mean. I guess, but it had a collar, so it might just live nearby. It doesn't look convinced. You know what? I'll see if I spot it on my walk and make sure. That would be great. Do you want to come by and see it? I can see how she considers it. How her brows furrow and her eyes trace the crevices of the floorboards. I might get scared with yet another stranger around. Best you go alone. Scared of frightening it? That's not an excuse I've ever heard from Roselle, the great cat whisperer. Maybe this case is a little bit more delicate, but it's not like the kitten trusts me either. However, if she doesn't want to, I can't force her. I'll just do my best then. Wish me luck. Good luck. Powered by her blessing, I head out. Before leaving, I put the cake in the fridge and make my way to the old pedestrian street again. I'm surprised to see the kitten sitting next to the tree, just like it had the other day. It feels a little strange to find such a young cat out here all alone again. I would like to have a closer look at its collar, as it might have a number or an address on it. The kitten is sitting next to the tree trunk, looking at the passerby. It looks healthy, so somebody must be feeding it at least. I really hope that I'm just overthinking it. From our last meeting, I know I should be careful when I approach it. No sudden movements or sounds that will scare it. Having made my approach, I speak to it softly to get its attention. Hey little friend, we need a proper name for you, don't we? Oh yeah, we gotta name this one too. And I don't know what to name all the kitties. I don't know. I think it was O'Malley. I forgot how to spell it. I think that's how you spell it. Not the kittens. I don't remember. I don't remember. The orange one didn't really do anything in the movie. He was just kind of there. I name him that, because I don't remember the other guy's name. O'Malley, what do you think of that? The kitten glances at me with big eyes. Toulouse. I thought Toulouse was the little black kitten. I don't know. I was remembering Toulouse, but I thought Toulouse was the black one, and then Marie was the white one, and then I can't remember the one. It's been too long since I've seen it. Kitten glances at me with big eyes, which I decide to be in approval. This reminds me that I still have cat treats in my pocket. Maybe O'Malley would like them? But I'm not dealing with eyes for the kitten. A kid separates from his mother's hand to chase the kitty. O'Malley runs away, but in my direction. I can't let it get away. Oh. I can't let it run away. I step out in a wide stance to be able to reach the kitten's every movement. See, I couldn't remember that black one's name at all. I don't even know how to pronounce that. It's been so long. I really haven't seen it in so long. I don't know why. I do really like it. It's one of my favorites. Disney movies. I don't know why I haven't. I have it on DVD too. There's nothing stopping me. O'Malley blasts past my left, and I'd greatly underestimated its speed. I have to give chase to not lose sight of it. I end up running 2 blocks, chasing after the kitten, being just fast enough to see it, just as it finds a doorway to hide in. Oh wait, is it actually? Oh yeah. Because of the, of the, what is it? That one cat. You know that one from the song. You know which one I'm talking about. I don't know. I haven't seen it in so long. You know what I'll do? I'll watch Aristocrats. I'll watch Aristocrats one of these days. And I'll just sit there and I'll roast it. But to myself. I end up running 2 blocks chasing after the kitten, being just fast enough to see it as it finds a doorway to hide in. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been too long. I stopped, not wishing to scare it any further. I'm not in that bad of a shape, but this kitten has me beat. I rest my hands on my thighs and try to catch my breath for a moment. I'll have to try and redeem myself as O'Malley is curled up in the corner, looking rather shaken. O'Malley looks scared, and it should be. It was just pursued through half the neighborhood. But I feel that it's very important to try to contact its owner. What if it has run away from home? The tree looks fairly clean, so I sit down, draw a deep breath, hoping that if I act calm, it'll calm down too. I'm sorry for scaring you, O'Malley. I speak softly to it and then wait until I see the kitten calm down visibly. Well, there's no twigs to use for play, and even if there were, I'm not sure that'd be a good idea. Maybe a bite to eat would help the little creature feel at ease. The situation isn't exactly what I'm used to, but I believe in the versatile powers of food. I crouch down and toss a treat carefully so it lands next to the kitten. It snaps its eyes on the new object and sniffs the air. When it's convinced it won't move again, it sneaks up on the treat and eats it. When finished, it sniffs around the ground for more. I throw another one and the projectile makes O'Malley shy away before quickly returning to eat the food. I know the treat's closer and closer to me so O'Malley can get within reach. However, O'Malley becomes aware of that and grows more careful approaching the treats, backing away when it has grabbed it. It's a slow process, but I get the kitten close enough. I slowly pick out a few treats and place them on my palm. I extend my hand slightly in front of me, making sure the kitten can see them. O'Malley looks at them but hesitates, so I throw one of them halfway between us. The kitten crouches down and sneaks up to the treat, carefully watching me. After snacking on the nearest treat, it looks curiously at my hands, stretching its head out. It takes a reluctant step towards me and I have to stay completely still. Movementless, like a statue, a gargoyle at Notre Dame. Or maybe not a gargoyle, they come to life, right? As O'Malley get closer. It grows braver and walks up the last steps to smell my hand. I feel its whiskers tickle my fingertips, but I stay still as the mountain. O'Malley takes the first treat and I can clearly hear it snap as it bites into it. One after another, the treats disappear until my hand is empty. I know O'Malley won't like it, but I'll still have to grab it to check its collar. My hand eases closer and picks the kitten up. I quickly press it against my chest to stabilize it. O'Malley tenses up as soon as I touch it, but feels slightly calmer after a few seconds in my bosom. There you are, such a good kitty. I try to soothe the kitten and gently strokes it with my thumb. When it is calm, I place it on my lap to check the collar. O'Malley meows and I find a phone number that I write down on my phone. When that is done, I loosen my grip and stroke the kitten gently to make it forget my manhandling. Then I have to let go, and O'Malley scurries away, but I don't think we're back to square one. Leave some treats on the ground in case it comes back and leave. As soon as I get home, I walk into Rose's room. I got a number. Amelie had one on its collar. Oh, and I followed your rule. I named it. I also forgot to mention that I named the bakery cat as well. It's Turtle. What are we waiting for? Call it. I type in the number and let the signals go by. They go on for longer and longer. No answer? Doesn't appear, so I'll have to try again later. Well, keep me updated. I will. I try to call a few more times, eventually give up and head out for work. There are slow news days, and then there's dead news days. I need to get something published today or my boss will get on my case. Might as well have a stroll and see if I can at least find something worth writing about. The city, beautifully lit and dark as I find my way down Cateau path, is probably one of the prettiest spots around here. Another advantage it has going for it is the fact that for some arcane reason there's almost nobody ever goes there, rendering it a quiet place for thoughts to be had. Hang on a moment, what's that sound? My pondering is interrupted by aggressive growling and a tremendous noise near the bridge. My curiosity is getting the better of me, and I silently walk over to check the source of the racket. In the glow of lamplight, there's a group of cats staring at each other, hissing and swatting their paws. Four of them seem to be working together against a somewhat larger, rougher looking one. Could it be the same one as from the other day? It looks like it and appears to be in trouble. To interfere is a sure way to get all kinds of debilitating diseases. I hang back and wait for the confrontation to resolve itself. They fly at each other in a blurred frenzy of claws and bites, but a few moments later the upstart rout and flee, leaving a lone cat torn but triumphant. Satisfied that it has indeed won the field, it hops weary but proud in posture. I sneak closer, but it doesn't look like the cat needs or wants my help. It sits down, tending to its wounds and giving itself time to rest and recover. This cat can clearly manage on its lonesome. Roselle could certainly learn a thing or two from this fellow. Another certainty is that every great brawler ought to have a nickname of some sort to go along with their reputation. Alright, what do we name this one? What do we name the brawler? Okay. Hit cat. Right, Hit. Clearly you run this town. It starts walking and I follow along at a comfortable distance. We follow the canal, a part of the city I'm very familiar with. I glance at the cat, who has some minor cuts, and the fur is even more of a mess than usual, but it doesn't seem to bother it at all. What bothers me, though, is the extensive littering for one, and the fact that I have no idea what this cat eats, come to think about it. Oh, I offended it. Still have a few treats left, so I fish them out of my pocket and crouch down, offering them from my hand. It looks at me with a spark of suspicion glinting in the eye, not making any move to approach. There's a retreat between us, in case it doesn't want to get close to me. It walks up to the tree with a scowling expression and swats it dismissively in the water below. Note to self, it really doesn't like cat treats. Well, if cats don't like these things, why even bother lugging them around? I weigh a treat in my hand, feeling its weight and shape. Calculate the perfect skip toss of my hand before reeling back, my whole body following into the throw, and I unleash the treat with flawless timing. It cuts through the air with a purpose, its destination preordained, an outcome already determined. With a graceful arc, it drops out of the air, maybe 2 feet away, hits the surface, and sinks with an undignified plop. It doesn't show signs of amusement, and thusly encouraged, I repeat the procedure until I run out of sweets, the last one managing to skip maybe a centimeter or so. Well, certainly not the smoothest of friendships. I get the feeling that Hit is at least somewhat less indifferent towards me. It and I would have to part ways for now, but I'm looking forward to meeting it again. Once back at work, inspiration hits me. I could always write a little piece about the issue of abandoned cats around the city. After all, I never noticed before, so bringing it to light might result in some good. Returning home in the morning, I'm met with a surprise. I looked through my pockets for my keys, only to find none. I must have dropped them somewhere. With resignation, I knocked steadily on the door. A short while later, Roselle opens it with a surprised look on her face. She looks tired. I'm not sure if I woke her up or not, however. I dropped my keys. Oh. I'll have to go looking for them after I've had time to sleep. Are you going anywhere? No, not really. Yeah. Plot device. With that, we separated into our respective rooms. I go to the bakery during the afternoon this time around, as the bakery won't be open in the weekend due to the move. This will be the last time I go to this alley. During the walk, I'm sure to keep my eyes peeled in case I drop my keys here, but I'm fairly sure I didn't. I enter the bakery and I'm almost feeling a little nostalgic as I look around. It won't change my routines that much to go to the new place, but I'm a little bit worried about Turtle. I ask the owner about it when she hands me my bread. Will you bring the cat along with you or to your new place? The owner gently shakes her head. There's no good place for it to stay at the new bakery, and we can't let it inside. Isn't there anyone that can take it home then? We've tried that, but it got really angry and anxious when we tried to carry it away. It really likes it with us, but when push comes to shove, we'll have no choice but to force it to. Sure, it'll work out somehow. Have you seen a pair of keys, by the way? I've dropped them somewhere. I haven't, but I'm sure to be on the lookout. The owner smiles reassuringly and continues on with work. I leave the bakery feeling ill at ease. I walk up to Turtle and notice that it looks a bit uneasy, but cheers up some when it sees me. The cat must know that something's going on. I should at least try to comfort it some before I go. Cuddles are the best cure for anxiety. I sit down next to its little bed and reach out my hand to caress its head. Turtle closes its eyes, purring, and we sit like that for a while. We can't leave Turtle without anyone caring for it. It feels weird to think of the cat being anywhere else, but here in the back alley, this is its home. I keep an close eye on the cat. It's looking much happier after some cuddling. A thought starts to play in my mind. What if I could take Turtle home with me? Turtle seems like a cat that would like most people. Sure, that might be a presumption, but I feel like we have a little bit of a special bond. I've gotten better with cats, I think, and I know Roselle owned cats in the past, so we would be able to care for it. The apartment is big enough and my income isn't too bad. It could be doable. No, it's entirely doable. Let's try it out. It will depend on if Turtle likes me or the bakery more entirely. Turtle inches closer to my hand and snuggle close to it. I stroke it gently with my free hand. I roll up my sleeves and crack my knuckles, a quiet joke to myself. The charm blitz is on and there's no escaping it. I'll make Turtle a happy, not-so-little cat. I begin by scratching behind the cheeks. I run my fingers through the thick fur to give it a scratch from the ears to the chin. I move my hands down to the chest and neck, digging into the fluffy chest hair. When I scratch the fur over its shoulders, I notice its front paws claw the quilt under it in comfort. The cat rolls over, exposing its tummy, and I give Turtle a proper belly rub. Turtle must feel spoiled to bits after that. The cat remains on its back, eyes closed, but then gives me a glance. The look seems to say, "Oh, you finished already? Weren't you supposed to be feeling bad?" Turtle chases after my hand, demanding to receive more pets, even though I've been at it for minutes already. When I don't immediately comply, it looks at me with those puppy eyes. Turtle certainly seems to want to keep me around, but is that enough for it to be willing to follow me home? I like to give the cat a little test to see. I don't want to just carry the whole cat. I'm sure it'll voluntarily follow me out of this alley if I just called for it. It'd hardly hurt to try. I give the cat a last pat on its head and then walk away, not stopping before I reach the next street. Not that far of a distance really, but it can be for a small cat. I make eye contact with Turtle that eyes me curiously. Without breaking it, I crouch down and reach out with a hand. Come here, Turtle. I click my tongue and the cat's ears respond, homing in on the sound. I call again and after some hesitation, it makes its way down from its bed. It trots lazily over to me, swaying with every step. What? Why'd you have to give up your cats, Evan? Is it because you had too many? Like, I know you had, like, what, like 7 cats, but still. Can't believe you got rid of one of the OGs. So how many do you have now, then? I offered my hand for pets, and before accepting it, Turtle glares at me, resentful of me for making it walk all the way over here. But still, I did it and I'm very proud of it. I snuggle it properly, and then comes the real test. I place my hands around Turtle's body and pick the cat up. Gosh, it's heavy. I shuffle it around so I have a good hold around it, and the cat strokes its face against mine. Seems like Turtle passed the test, or maybe it was I that did. I'll have to tell the owner and the bakers that I'll take Turtle with me. Oh. So he was being a bully to the baby cats, right? I'm assuming. Dang. I hesitate at the door, but I don't want to drop the cat now, so I walk in with it in my arms. The owner will have to excuse me, but it's a special occasion. The owner's eyes open in surprise when she sees us. Well, would you look at that? Seems like our little charmer has been charmed itself. Seems like it doesn't mind coming with me if that's fine with you guys. Of course. We couldn't be happier that it finds a proper home. And knowing it's you makes it feel even better. Does Roselle know about this? No, I'm just hoping she won't mind. The owner lets out a huge laugh. I can't imagine she ever would. Say hello from me. I will. I'll keep you all updated on Turtle. That's what I call it, by the way. Turtle. It's a suiting name. Turtle and I bid our farewell to the old bakery in the alley. I never found my keys, so they must be down by the canal. First, however, I must break the news to Roselle. I'm gonna surprise her with kitties. It'd be fun to see her face when I break the news. Snuggle against Turtle, making sure it feels comfortable during the walk home. I don't get any complaints, even when we have gotten far away from its old home. I walk up the stairs to its new one and take a deep breath before opening the door. It isn't locked, so Roselle is home. I walk up to Rose's room and knock on her door. Can I come in? Sure. I slip inside and I'm sure my excitement is visible all over my face. Roselle doesn't take notice, however. Her eyes are set on my precious cargo. Turtle? What is the cat doing here? You know the bakers are moving place, so Turtle's looking for a space to live, and we got plenty of space right here. My thoughts exactly. I drop the cat and it looks around the room. It locks eyes with Roselle and it walks up to her and strokes its body against her legs, begging for cuddles. It gives in and crouches down, giving it all the pets it wants. I guess I'll have to scurry off and get some things like cat food and such. Get diet food, we have to watch its weight. We'll also need a litter box, cat litter, unscented, some toys, preferably one with the stick. And one without, and that's too much for me to remember. Write me a list, will you? I will. I head out and after a few minutes I get a message of a very long list. I managed to find nearly all the things she had mentioned and drop them off at home before heading straight back out and down to the canal. I've gone for quite long enough without my keys and I have to find them. As I get to the towpath, it's already becoming dark. Placing my hopes on that the setting sun will hit the keys just right and make them shine up. Keep my eyes peeled on the ground, making my way back to my workplace along the canal. A hunch makes me look back and surely I spot Hit following me with silent steps. I wonder for how long it has been doing that. Or why. Possibly to keep an eye on anyone in its turf. The cat keeps stalking me a slight distance and I ignore it the best I can. My keys are top priority right now. I walk the entire towpath without spotting them. I guess I'll walk back, check some of the busier areas more carefully. I spot that it has stopped following me and is playing with something next to the edge of the canal. Good that it's keeping itself entertained. I'm a bit curious to what would interest Hit. My keys can wait this long, they can wait a little longer. The cat is sitting right next to the water and is poking at something casually, almost like it doesn't want to admit that it's playing. When I get closer, I get a better look at the object. Wait. Those are my keys Hit is playing with. I can't believe the cat managed to find them. I don't have the time to take a sigh of relief before the cat pokes the keys so they inch closer to their watery doom. I must do something quick to prevent a catastrophe from happening. I reach out my hand in front of me, trying to mentally keep the cat still. I hunch slightly and walk closer slowly, carefully not to agitate the cat. It looks at me momentarily before losing interest and looks down at the keys again. Now they're Hit, let's not be hasty. I watch as a paw blows in on the bundle. Hit. I lean forward, but it's too late. I watch the keys tumble over the edge and I hear the splash echo in my head. There's no way I can find my keys at the bottom of the canal. I kneel down next to the edge and look down into the blackness. The water is way too dark and deep for me to possibly find my keys. I guess I'll try to get copies for them. Until then, I'll have to coordinate with Ro. Get a new lock for my... Something drifts past me, quiets my bustling thoughts. Cork, I determine. What a coincidence, my keychain is a cork. I spurred into motion to grab it before it drifts any further and pull it out of the water. It's my keys. With them safe in hand, I cast a glance at Hid, who has been ignoring the whole ordeal and is cleaning its paw. You're lucky these didn't sink, you know. Cyan leaned back to catch a quick break. Cats seem to like to play with the keys, and under safe conditions I might dare to capitalize on that. I held them by the cork and dangled them above Hit's head. It doesn't cause much of a reaction. The cat just cocks its head and looks at me. Okay, so that doesn't work. To try to recreate the conditions they wanted to play in. I take one hard last look at my keys and drop them on the ground, although making sure they aren't close to any edges. After looking at the keys for a moment, Hit reaches out a lazy paw and swats the keys a little closer to the water. Yeah, when he squints. Maybe Hit just likes to push things off edges. I could replace the keys with something else, but it would just end up littering. So I quit playtime then and there. Getting late, so I should head home. Give Hit a wave and start to walk away. I walk down the very familiar towpath. I wonder how Roselle's doing at home. After a while I recognize faint footsteps behind me and turn around to see that Hit is still following me. I shrug, thinking it will stop eventually, but as I leave the towpath, it's still following me. You coming with me, huh? It responds by following along all the way to my door. This is my stop. Hit has stopped and is looking at me, waiting. Having said goodbye, I open the door only for Hit to waltz in on like it owns the place. The cat looks around and jumps up on the sofa to get a better look at things. Bro, we have a visitor. It takes Roselle a moment to make it to her door. When she steps out, she has Turtle in tow. She freezes as she spots Hit and turns around to shove Turtle back in her room and closes the door. What's going on? Not sure, but it decided to follow me home. Why did you lock away, Turtle? You can't just throw two cats who don't know each other together and expect things to go well. There's a process for these things, you know. Can't say I do know. How does it work? You have to gradually introduce them to each other. At first they'll just have to meet through my door, so they have a chance to get used to each other's presence. So it can stay? If it wants to, I won't be the one to kick it out. We'll need another bowl though, and it should probably have some richer food. I'll get that tomorrow then. I notice how her attention shifts toward the sofa and her eyes slowly sets on Hit. The cat eyes the new human with suspicion, but I know Roselle can get that barrier down in no time. I don't want to disturb her, so I leave her to it. I'll buy the things before my walk tomorrow. I don't know why I keep yawning. I think it's just because I'm having to talk so much that it's like getting me out of breath or something. I bought the new things and I'm heading up for my Sunday stroll. By the look of it this morning, Hit and Roselle are getting along well, so I'm not the slightest bit worried over leaving them alone. As I near the pedestrian street, I peel my eyes trying to spot a certain kitten. I'll most likely find it in its usual spot, but I don't trust it to not have moved. I see the tree in the distance and it grows closer as I walk. There's no kitten to be seen. I reach the corner and circle on the tree, but I can't see O'Malley. Maybe it actually got home. If that were to be the case, it'd be great. My meow crushes my hopes and I look around, still not spotting it. The next meow I can tell comes from above and I look up. O'Malley looks down at me from a high up branch on the tree. What's it doing up there? Doesn't look very safe. I haven't climbed a tree in ages, but I did some back in the day. Except for the first part, it looks like a pretty easy climb. Oh. I walk up, look at the tree fork. It's really high up. With a small jump, I manage to grab the lower branch, and I struggle up, kicking at the trunk. I grunt as I try to pull myself up with quite some effort, and in no way gracefully, I make it to the first fork. I've made it. I look up at the kitten. Am I imagining things, or is it even further up now? Maybe I should have been more careful. Looks like I scared it. I really can't afford scaring it any further up the tree. O'Malley's already out on very thin twigs. With all of its claws sticking to the wood, and I don't want it to let go of that grip before I can catch it. I slowly move to the next foothold and then pause there until O'Malley stops watching me. Then I advance to the next spot. It's very slowly going and my arms feel a bit tired, but eventually I reach the same height that O'Malley's at. The kitten, however, is just slightly too far away. I might be able to lean out to grab it or possibly lure it closer. I make sure I sit steadily on my branch and then carefully extract the treats from my pocket. O'Malley's been up here for a while and might be hungry. I reach out with a treat, and I immediately see how the kitten's nose twitches as it's sniffing the air. You know you want it, come take it. After a moment's hesitation, it eases closer, carefully making its way back along the thin branch. I lay my head flat and the kitten grabs the treat and devours it in seconds. It really is hungry. I feed it more treats, making it come a little closer each time, then grabbing the kitten with both hands to pull it to my lap. The kitten meows loudly and writhes in my grip, but I manage to secure it against my chest. I try to offer it the rest of the treats to calm it down, but to no avail. O'Malley has no interest in them. I need to have both my hands free to climb down, so I reach for my bag to stow the kitten in there. It's difficult to get it into the bag as it shoots out all of its legs and claws, fighting to stay out of the bag. I finally manage to tuck it inside, then putting the bag over my back again before making my way down. O'Malley doesn't make too much of a fuss, but letting the kitten out is on the top of my list. With the most care in the world, I place the bag on the ground and open it up. Before I can react, O'Malley sprints away and then disappears into the distance. I try to chase after it, but give up after a few steps, realizing that it's futile. However, I can't just let it go this time. I haven't been able to reach any owner or seen any signs of this kitten having a home to return to. People must have given it food, but that doesn't change that it shouldn't be living on the street. I grab my phone and look up animal shelters in the immediate area. I found one that seems nice, a no-kill shelter with good reviews, and I make a call. I reach one of their employees who's willing to try to catch the kitten the same day. I sit down on a bench to wait. We decide to place the trap next to the tree since it's likely O'Malley will come back when there's less people there. The tree seems to be what it calls home. I wait for hours at a distance before we see O'Malley return. The scent of food makes it enter the trap rather quickly, being safely caught. I make sure O'Malley is in good hands and leave it to the shelter to take care of it. Goodbye, O'Malley. I hope you find a great home. I wave goodbye and watch it getting carried away. I stay for a little while before walking home. I'm home. I find Hit upon its high ground, keeping its eye on its surroundings. Marcel's door stands shut and I'm sure I'll find both Ro and Turtle in there. I pet Hit gently and the cat seems to enjoy it. It looks to me like it has decided to be a domestic cat more or less anyway, now that it's getting older. I slip inside Ro's room and find her riding away with Turtle in her lap. Stops as she notices me. How'd it go? Did you see O'Malley? I did. Somebody had scared it up a tree, however. Oh no, poor thing. Has it gotten down yet? Yes, it has. It's also on its way to a good animal shelter for care. I couldn't leave it out there again. Well, that's a relief. She hugs the cat on her lap. What are you writing? Oh, you know, just some school stuff. How about I leave you to that and go fix us some food? That'd be great, thank you. Some later. I wasn't sure if Hidden Turtle would get along, but it would appear my worries had been for naught. We followed Rose's steps, introduced the cast to each other, and it worked somehow. It wasn't easy to sell the idea of sharing the house to it, but Turtle won it over like it did to everyone else. Every time they pass each other by, they butt heads, which is something Rose says is affection. I walk up to her door and knock before entering. Hey Maddie, what's up? Not much, Ro. How was the lecture? It was alright, I suppose. Interesting content, but a bad presenter. Well, ain't that university in a nutshell? She and I both chuckle. Oh yeah, it sure is. That and overpriced course literature. Actually, I'm done with the book I have to read. Why don't we go out and grab an ice cream or something? I'd absolutely love to. And since you have worked so hard, it will be my treat. Heh, thanks. Feels good to have caught up again. We head out carefully through the door so Turtle doesn't slip out with us. That cat likes to accompany us a little too much at times. We decide to go to a cafe quite far away from home, and for the entire walk, we share laughs and jokes like the good old times. Well, I guess, I could have also gotten the kitten too, but I guess I didn't, get good enough. I didn't pick enough right options for it.